What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. As you can tell by the title, I have a Q&A discussing my medicine. I recently uploaded a video titled I Smoke, and I will leave that on the card up here, as well as in the description box down below. So be sure to check that out maybe before this one, because this video, if you haven't seen that video, might seem like a shock. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a recovering addict who served time in prison, and my entire life story is in the description box down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, we just hit 700K over there, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever gonna be $2. All of that is linked down below as well. And I even have a vlog channel where you can see me doing vlog stuff. And I have a podcast. So there's a lot of stuff in that description box. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm honestly a little nervous to read the questions. As I said in the first video, transparency isn't always easy, and I know that there is stigma still surrounding medical marijuana, especially for people in recovery, because there is so much shame and stigma and judgment placed on us already. You tell someone you take some medicine and they're gonna be all over you. I have been hesitant to share it online, but I just wanna take a moment to thank each and every one of you who were kind to me, who left amazing comments, because those comments are over 90% positive, and I can't even tell you what that means to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. All right, question number one. Do you feel as though medical marijuana and street marijuana are different? It depends. I've read a lot of articles about fentanyl being sprayed on weed, so I personally find comfort and peace of mind going to the dispensary and knowing exactly what I'm getting. I'm very grateful to live in a state where it's recreational, it's legal, anyone can go in and get it over the age of 21. That's a big deal because you know at the dispensary it's not sprayed with fentanyl. So just having that safety and that peace of mind is a big deal. That's going to help save lives, especially if people are spraying it with fentanyl. Makes me crazy. How do you feel about people currently locked up over something you are doing legally? It pisses me off. Every single person still in prison for weed needs to be released. When we decide that something that we're doing in our criminal justice system is no longer okay, and we change our laws, those laws need to be made retroactive so that everyone that is sitting in prison for weed can get out. That's really important when dealing with laws, is that politicians and lawmakers are not making things retroactive, so people are still stuck in prison for marijuana, for 924C, which my good friend Adam, he was stuck in prison for a very long time because they stacked his mandatory minimum sentencing. So 924C, and doing that is no longer legal. However, it was not made retroactive. So everyone had to be a little more clever when it came to bringing Adam home. He is now home, but he was sentenced to 213 years because they stacked his mandatory minimum sentencing for robbery. So if you don't know who Adam Clausen is, Adam and Roe, I will leave their channel linked down below as well. I love them. What's your opinion on using weed recreationally? I personally believe that if you are in a recreational state and you're over the age of 21 and you're being responsible, then I personally think it's okay. I know people don't agree, but cool thing is, it's your life. You know you. Be responsible about it. I never want to get up here and say that marijuana cannot be addictive, because it can be. There are some people that cannot use marijuana in long-term recovery. They just can't use it at all. I never want anyone to be confused about this path. This is my path. This is my journey. This is what works for me, but it is not going to work for everyone. So seek professional advice. I'm not a doctor. I can't give you professional medical advice. Be responsible. Like anything else. How come this won't bring back addictive tendencies, re-spark the addiction? Well, because I was addicted to heroin, meth, and pills, and I was an intravenous user. This is very different for me personally. Again, this is just my personal journey. For me, it just is working. You know, I was very against taking pills because I abused them all my life. So I know that antidepressants and sleeping medication and other medications for your mental health, I know that that helps so many people. But again, every pathway is different, and that is not what works for me, nor is it something that I even wanted to consider, because I know that I am unable to take a pill the right way. I can't. I know that about myself. This does not make me want to use drugs. It just doesn't. And I know there's a heavy stigma around medical marijuana, but this is what is working for me. How do you consume it? Smoking a bowl or a bong? I typically just get pre-rolls from the dispensary. So joints because I'm lazy. I can roll. Your girl can roll, but she's lazy. Do you think it could be a gateway drug for others, not responsible people like you? I think every person is different. I have talked to people that if they smoke, they want to use other things. That's just not me, and I can't speak on something that I don't personally experience. So everyone's different. Do I think that that could happen? I do, which is why I take this conversation very seriously, and I want to just continue to say that I am not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice. I'm not your therapist. I'm not your psychologist. I cannot do that. You know, I don't have an MD or a PhD yet, but I just want you to know that this is just my journey. Are there driving restrictions when using medical cannabis? I don't drive. I smoke right before I go to bed, and then I go to sleep. Why do you get a medical card? Isn't it legal in Illinois? It's expensive, first of all. Second of all, I think it's important to seek medical professionals when dealing with things like this, especially in long-term recovery. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was on the same page and that the path that I wanted to go down was a wise one for me. So that is why. Also, it's expensive and you do get a discount having a medical card in Illinois. How does Reese feel about your cannabis use as well? Because he is a former addict. Reese is supportive of my decisions, of mine and my doctor's decisions, and he is completely fine with it. Do you prefer smoking or ingesting your medicine? I prefer smoking. Edibles kick my ass, I'm not gonna lie. They're strong and they kind of make me feel a little weird, so I don't like them right now. That could change. I might change from smoking to taking edibles instead because of the smoke and all of that stuff. So yeah, currently I smoke. Is there any negative effects you've experiencing using this plant? Just with edibles, I'm not there yet, like they're just a little bit too strong for me. So yeah. How do you feel about self-medicating with marijuana? I'm so happy that I found something that works for me and I can sleep at night, and that's freaking so amazing. I can't even tell you how serious my insomnia was, and that was stressing me out. It was causing all kinds of other things to happen because I struggle with other things like depression and PTSD. It was making that worse. And then I would have borderline panic attacks because it's like you have to go to sleep. And then you're constantly telling yourself you have to go to sleep, and it was so stressful. So the fact that I can sleep now, it's life-changing. My favorite strains, so any indica, but there is one from my dispensary that's called Bio Jesus. I love that one. I get it almost every time I go. So that one's amazing. Does it ever make your muscles feel tense or make you feel anxious? No, it makes me feel calm and sleepy and happy, and I can drift off to sleep peacefully. When do you find the time to smoke with having kids from being a mom? They gotta sleep sometime, girl. I go outside and I smoke when they're in bed. When you smoked weed back in the day, did you notice its positive effects? Interestingly enough, I have smoked weed all my life, except for when I found out I was pregnant and then I was on parole. So I've just kind of went back to smoking now after years and years of abstinence-based recovery. But I have smoked weed all my life from 12 to 23. High school was very difficult for me if I didn't smoke. And that just made me calm, and it was easier for me to go to school. However, I was heavily addicted to alcohol at the time, so I didn't even really know that weed was helping me be calm. All I did know was I could not go to school or any social event without something because I was abusing everything. So I have smoked weed all my life, except for the 9 years I was sober. But yeah, I was so heavily addicted to every other thing that I didn't even realize the positive benefits of marijuana when I was a teenager and then in my early 20s. So was it hard coming out about smoking? It was so hard. I have some amazing friends behind the scenes that helped me with that. Jen helped me. She's a big advocate for harm reduction, and she's on my side, of course, ride or die forever. So she helped me, and we had the best conversation about it, honestly, because she was like, is this who you are? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in medical marijuana? Who gives a shit what anyone else thinks? And just that conversation was just life-changing because we had it the day before I was about to post this video, and I'm like, I just don't know if people are gonna understand. And I was super nervous to post it, but I was also relieved the minute it went live because I don't hide things well, and I don't like hiding things. I want to be open and transparent. But I did receive some advice from some other people that I love and trust. We had a difference of opinion, and you know, it made me nervous to open up about this. So not everyone in my life, or not everyone that I asked for advice, agreed that I should go public with this. I took their opinions in and I respect them, but this is what I feel is best for me and for all of you guys. You know, I think it's important to be open and honest, and abstinence-based recovery, while so amazing for years, was not doing me any justice anymore. And if abstinence-based recovery is making you miserable, please seek medical professionals. I also want to say that I went through abstinence-based recovery for a very long time before I went to marijuana. I have built lasting bonds and connections, a beautiful life, a career, things that keep me grounded and stable and happy, but I still needed extra help, and that's okay. So I think because I had years and years of abstinence-based recovery, and during those years, I built a very amazing and happy life, I think that is helping me in my recovery and helping me with my medicine at the same time, right? So I have no desire to go to hard drugs. I am completely okay, and I'm freaking so happy. Like, I can't even put into words the difference that this has made on my mental health just for sleep alone. But like, now I know that if I'm having panic attacks, or I'm anxious, or I can't sleep, or I'm really depressed, I know I have another tool in my toolbox to help me through it. And that has been invaluable. It's priceless. Well, it's not priceless. It's expensive in Illinois, but I'm just very grateful for it. Are you worried at all about depending on it to sleep, feel normal, etc.? It's a great question. I'm currently not worried about that. I also don't smoke every single night. Some nights I'm so tired that insomnia is not bothering me and I go to sleep without it. Other nights I need help. And I don't know if I mentioned that in the first video. I don't think I did. So I don't smoke every single day, but I know that it's there if I need it. And that is what is so amazing. Maybe even just having the peace of mind of knowing that if I need help has calmed me. It's like a psychological thing where like, I know that if I need help, I can go to that. So I don't need it every day. There's nothing wrong if you need it every day. I currently don't at this moment in time. I have plenty of friends that need to smoke every day, need to medicate every day, and that's fine. But again, we're all different. So my friend G-Man, who has severe PTSD, he needs to medicate every day, and that's fine. I don't know if I could hang with him actually. Just kidding. Love you, G-Man. He's hardcore, but he needs it every day and I don't. And that could change. And if it does change, I'll let y'all know. Are you partial to indica, sativa, hybrid, or do you like mixing it up? I do have a couple of pre-rolls that are hybrid. I haven't tried them yet though. So I don't know. I'll keep you posted. Right now, I love any indica. I mean, sativa's cool, but I just want to go to sleep. Daily when needed, ? As needed. So right now it's as needed. Is it a treatment or a cure? No, I'm never going to be like cured of my mental health. Like there's no cure for depression. There's no cure for PTSD or insomnia. These are things that we just have to continue to work on. So it's a treatment, but not a cure. How do you deal with the smell? I love the smell. I love the smell. Are you worried it might trigger you to use something stronger? No, that is not a concern of mine personally because I know that it doesn't trigger me. Great question though, because I understand where your logic is, but no. But for me personally, I am not triggered at all. I am glowing happy because I found something that works for me. What are your thoughts on smoking tobacco? What's the difference of weed to cigs for you? I hate cigarettes. I hate the smell of cigarettes. I hate cigarettes. I hate them. I know, whatever. I smoked cigarettes for a long time, but I was never addicted to them. And the last time I got arrested, I just stopped smoking and I never wanted to smoke again. But that was lucky. It was like the only thing I wasn't addicted to was tobacco. I was addicted to everything else. So I hate cigarettes. I hate how it smells. Is it legal in your state / was it harder to get a medical card as a felon? I had no problem with that whatsoever. And it is legal in Illinois. Where do you get your CBD gummies? I actually have a code with a brand for CBD gummies and I'll link that down below. Don't you think you're cheating to your sobriety? Not a criticism, just curiosity. No, I absolutely do not. Some of us in recovery need a little extra help and that is what I have. I don't think I'm cheating. I think that I'm medicated and I'm thriving and I'm happy and I found something that makes my mental health so much better. So nope, I don't. Was it weird for you to experience being high again? How did you handle it? It wasn't really weird. That's a good question. It wasn't really weird. I just went to sleep. So I didn't feel uncomfortable. I didn't feel weird about it. It kind of was just like I was able to take a deep breath and relax. You know, I did not feel uncomfortable or weird. How have the people in the rooms in AA or NA felt about it? I don't know. I don't go there. There's a reason I don't go there, and it's not because I don't believe in the program, because I believe that it works for some people. I would not have some loved ones in my life if it wasn't for that program, and I'm so glad that it's there because it has helped so many people, thousands of people. However, it is not for me. I have been court ordered from the age of 16 or 17 all the way to 28 to do AA or NA, and I still can't tell you all the steps. And the reason why is because I never found a home group. I never found a group of people that accepted me for where I was and that believed in other things like medically assisted treatment, like outside literature or science. And anytime I tried to bring up any kind of other doctrine, I was yelled at. I also tried to go to meetings when I was under the influence and again, shamed and yelled at when I was a teenager and when I was in my early 20s. I have been to meetings in many states and I never felt accepted there. And then in Arkansas, when I got out, I said, well, I just got out of prison, but I'm like 2.5 years sober, so I don't really know when my sober day is. And I felt a lot of judgment and shame, and the meetings that I found were inherently negative and they triggered me. Hearing war stories, which I don't think you're supposed to share war stories in those meetings, but I never had a positive experience in NA or AA. I was triggered often in those meetings. But Al-Anon meetings genuinely helped me understand that I don't have control over my loved ones that are struggling. I need to accept them and love them for where they are. And then shortly after starting Al-Anon is when I signed up to get my bachelor's degree, which I now have. So they helped me a lot in Al-Anon meetings. So anyway, I don't know how they feel about it, nor do I care how other people view me or look at me. You can judge me, you can put me down, you can not agree with me. That's fine. You know, I know me, I love me, and that's all I need, you know? I woke up this morning and I like myself today, so your like is extra. Are your kiddos aware of the medication you take? Currently, no, because they are 8 and 4. Some things I don't need to share with my children. I will tell them when they are older and can understand this a little bit more. I am super open and honest with my kids about the fact that I went to jail, that I took things that made me sick, and that I have sadness. I don't call it depression. And we have talks like that, but this is something that I don't need to share with them at the ages of 8 and 4. So I go outside and I smoke when they're asleep, and I will tell them later, obviously, when they're older and they can process it a little bit better. But at this current moment, I don't see the need to tell them about my medication, but I know that that will change because they just keep getting bigger and they're gonna keep growing and asking questions. And I firmly believe in being transparent with my children, just as transparent as I am online. That's how transparent I'm going to be with my kids when they get older. Also, could you imagine if Micah went to school and was like, my mommy smokes weed? Like, But yeah, I will tell them when they get older. Does it have side effects for you? Fatigue or something? Sorry, I don't know how weed works. Hungry, happy, sleepy. That's how I feel. So not gonna lie, I have a lot of cereal in my house. How long did it take you until you noticed the changes? The first day, I noticed that I was able to go to sleep. So day 1. Were you doing a 12-step program prior? And if so, are you still doing one? Nope, I haven't done a 12-step program in years, and I never fully participated in the 12 steps, if I'm being honest. I can't tell you what they all are. I think a large portion of that comes from having to white knuckle it and detox alone in a jail cell over and over again. I think that might have had something to do with it. I don't want to blame the people in the meetings for me not liking the meetings, you know, but I felt like there was just a divide there, and I couldn't relate to anyone else's journey really, and I just was having a hard time when I first got out of prison. So I did go to the meetings, and after a while, because I just physically had to be there because it was court ordered, I just played Candy Crush, and I tried not to listen to a lot of the stories because they triggered me, or seeing people high on heroin at first triggered me. It wouldn't trigger me now because I'm 9 years sober, but when I was first out of prison and struggling to stay on my feet, and I had nothing and no money, and my kid was in DHS, and I was on parole, and I was working 2 jobs, seeing people come in meetings drunk or high bothered me. But again, that was because I didn't build lasting bonds and connections and build a beautiful life outside of addiction. My first year out of prison was very, very hard on me mentally. I look back to that first year and I don't even know how I did it. I mean, I was struggling. And I respect the struggle. I will never forget that struggle. I will never forget that time in my life living in a halfway house and borrowing sneakers in a halfway house to go to a telemarketing job that paid $7.50 an hour or whatever it was at the time. I needed that. You know, I had made horrible decisions in my past. I deserved to go to prison. And when I got out of prison, it needed to be that hard. And because of its difficulty level, I am proud of myself and blown away that I was able to stay sober and get my daughter and overcome all of the obstacles that were placed in my way. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for how hard it was. It made me stronger. When did you start smoking and was it a difficult decision? A while ago. And yes, it was a difficult decision, but the alternative for me in my life was misery or pills, and I can't go down that route. You know, I've had a horrible experience with that and a pill addiction spanning over 10 years. Is there a safer intake than smoking? There's so many. I'm sorry, my eyebrows are so itchy. I just had them microbladed. I'll leave the vlog on the card up here if you're interested, but they're like super itchy right now. There's all different ways you can, there's edibles, you can eat it, there's oils, there's all different kinds of things. Did you have any worries about becoming dependent on it? I genuinely don't worry about that. I really don't at all. And not to say that does not happen to people. It's just not how I view it, nor is it a problem for me whatsoever. I am very responsible with my use, like I've mentioned, and I was never dependent on it ever, and I've smoked my whole life, except for when I got pregnant to today, right? So, but I was a little nervous about maybe that had changed because I had been in abstinence-based recovery for so long. So I was a little worried about it and a little nervous, not about becoming dependent. I just didn't want to feel weird, honestly. I never thought that this was compromising my sobriety or my recovery. That wasn't even a thought in my head. I just thought like, I'm gonna feel weird. That was my main concern. Gosh, I'm just gonna feel so weird and uncomfortable doing that because I had been sober for so long. So that was really my only hang up. And then once I realized, holy shit, this works for me, I was nervous to tell you guys, but I'm not worried about becoming dependent on it because I had never been dependent on it before. How do you combine it with being a parent? I just smoke when they go to bed. Would you still take it if it was illegal? Do you want me to admit to a crime on the internet, girl? Girl? I would never break the law. No, medical marijuana is accepted in everywhere now. I mean, don't quote me on that, but yeah. Does it affect your lungs as bad as cigarettes? I'm not a doctor. I feel like cigarettes are worse because there's a lot of chemicals in them, but obviously smoke in general is going to be bad for your lungs. I'm just not worried about that yet. I'll worry about that later. Right now, I'm just super happy that I found something that helps me. This person said, I've only known people addicted to weed, so I have a really hard time with thinking about it as a medicine. I'm guessing it cut off. You know, your statement is not uncommon. That is seen across addiction. When we're talking about addiction and recovery, a lot of people have negative opinions based on their own personal experiences. So that's not uncommon, and I totally understand where you're coming from, but this can and does help so many, hundreds of thousands of people. So maybe look into it a little bit more and read on all of the benefits for medical marijuana if you're having a hard time seeing it as a medication, which I completely understand. You know, I get a lot of comments about people not understanding drug addiction and putting addicts down if they do something that seems outside of the box of whatever that person has thought of recovery as. And often that's coming from a place of hurt. Hurt people. And if they have known an addict and they've been hurt by an addict, chances are they might have a really bad opinion about it. And I get that all day on YouTube. But yeah, I would just research it a little bit more. I try so hard to be open-minded, and I'm not bragging when I say this. I genuinely mean this. I try very hard to be open-minded, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this negative opinion based on facts? Or did I experience something that makes me think this way? Like, where is this coming from? Is it coming from a place of hurtness? It's not a word. Is it coming from a place of someone hurt me and now I feel this way towards whatever the situation is? Or is my opinion coming from science or facts or a place outside of my own ego, outside of my own mind, outside of my own life experiences? And yeah, that's called growth, because I never used to be that way. You know, I would fight people at the drop of a hat. So you are still considered sober since you aren't using the drug in that way. I'm sober because I believe I am sober. I'm taking medication that helps my mental health and I'm thriving. Do you smoke tobacco too? Hell no. Hell no. I hate tobacco. No shade if you smoke cigarettes, but I hate the smell of cigarettes. I will throw up when I smell them. Medical prices are outrageous. How much is it in Illinois for legalized? Is it any cheaper? Medical is cheaper than recreational, but it's expensive. I spend a few $100s a month now, so. Do you use it in front of your kids? Do I smoke weed in front of my kids? Of course not. They're 8 and 4. Do you still wake up in the night but find that it helps you fall asleep faster? I actually don't wake up that often. And what's cool is if I wake up like to pee, I go right back to sleep, which is like unheard of. Before I smoked, I would wake up and then just lay there after struggling for over 2 hours to go to sleep. That's with melatonin. That's with essential oils. That's with breathing techniques. That's with all of the things that I was doing before I started smoking. It was a lot of stuff that I was having to do just to be okay, and that was hard. So now I smoke and I'm asleep in 10 minutes, and that's crazy because that's never how it used to be for me, and I'm sleeping longer. And if I do wake up to go pee, I can fall right back asleep. So it lasts me the whole night. Is there a reason you use gummies during the day and smoke at night? I have just been using CBD gummies for so long that it's just kind of part of my morning routine, and it just helps me like be calm. I love CBD. Does it scare your family? I actually didn't tell my family before the video dropped. No, that's not true. My mom knows. My dad though. Sorry, Dad. I feel like he's not surprised though. Does it make you feel slower during the day? Yeah, I don't smoke during the day. I smoke at night right before I go to bed. If I was to smoke, or if I did need it throughout the day, I would smoke any sativa because it would make me a little bit more awake and alert. But I don't do that. I don't smoke before I film. I don't smoke during the day. I smoke at night right before I go to bed, which is funny because a lot of people were like, I knew it. You looked so high in that video or that video. And that's just not true. I've never smoked before I filmed. Ever, not one time. Have you been happy with the Illinois medical cannabis process? I have. It was easy, it was quick, and it saves money. Okay, one more question and then we're gonna close it out. Did you try some California weed when you were in LA? What's funny is people kept offering me edibles and joints, and yeah, so I did smoke when I was in California. I also went to a dispensary and got some stuff that I wanted from there. Hopefully that answers all of your questions. I will be doing a podcast with my friend Matt and some other people so that you can kind of hear a lot more than I can bring to the table. I don't know everything about it. I know enough, but I have friends that are so much more knowledgeable than me, so I'll be pulling them onto my podcast or wherever we want to talk about it. I'm also going to be doing more videos in the future about medical marijuana once I learn more and, you know, go down that rabbit hole. I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, whatever that looks like to you, because there is no wrong way to recover. And I'll see you in my next one.